Welcome, everybody, to another live edition of our Man's Night here from Inside Out. I'm your coach, Jay. Thank you guys so much for joining and being a part of this great, epic podcast. At least I think it is anyways. And I hope you all are going to have a great weekend, as you guys know. And you guys can see with some of my little decorations and whatnot I have here. This is Memorial Day weekend. So this podcast is dedicated to all of the soldiers, past, present, and the ones that are still serving, as you guys know, that has fought for this country in some form or fashion to give us the freedom to get up here and do what we do here. So again, if you are a veteran or somebody that has served in the military in some form or fashion, again, thank you guys so much for your service here tonight. And I have a little special little video clip to honor all of our military personnel on this very special holiday weekend. With that being said, anyways, let's get in the chat. I want to give a shout out to everybody before I get into the topic here tonight. I got my good friend Wanda. How you doing, Wanda? Thank you so much for joining. She got in here and said this real quick. I'll put it on the screen for you guys to see it. Anyways, hey everyone, I hope everyone's having a good night. Yep, so far I think my night's going really well. It's Friday. Obviously, we made it to another Friday, and we are blessed. You are blessed. Everybody's blessed. So thank you so much for being here. And then, of course, I got another comment from Wanda coming in here real quick. Let me go ahead and show that. She goes, I understand completely. I've been dealing with my phone number being given out as well as foul things being posted on my news break. So much hate. I'm sorry to hear that. It never surprises me when people have to try to rain or ruin somebody's parade. If you get my drift, I get so sick and tired of negativity. I could, I can do a backflip, but I'm not going to do that. Anyways, with that being said, let's go ahead and give a shout out to Joe. Hey, Joe, how you doing? Thank you again so much for being here. I appreciate you. Hope you're having a good Friday night where you're at. And then, of course, we have Rose. We finally got Rose in here tonight. Rose, thank you so much. Oops, I put it up there. There it is. Hey, Rose, thank you so much for being in here. I appreciate you. I know that you are quite a long distance away. So anyways, everybody, if you guys don't know who Rose is, she lives in the, I want to say, Australia area. So she's quite the jump across the pond, if you get my drift. Anyways, welcome, Rose. I hope you're doing good. Nice to see you. With that being said, everybody else is in here. I think Tammy's going to get in here a little bit later tonight. So we are definitely looking forward to, we're definitely looking forward to doing this podcast here tonight with the description of what is going on. So let me go ahead and explain real quick what I'm talking about here tonight. First things first, we're talking about false allegations. I think a lot of you know what I'm getting at. And on top of that, we're talking about hearsay, which basically, in a sense, kind of play a part in both topics here tonight. And I'm going to be showing you guys the data and the information and all that here tonight. The information I'll be showing to you guys here tonight too also will be in the description. So go click on that. If you want to read it in your own time and leisure, you're more than welcome to do so because it's in there for your guys' viewing. Anyway, Orphan Annie's in here. Thank you so much, Orphan, for popping in here and saying hi. Anyways, happy Friday, fine folks, person. Yeah, absolutely. And again, happy Memorial Day weekend to you, Orphan, for you being in here. Rose said this real quick. Always keen to hear what's going on in USA, especially as it relates to criminal injustice. Absolutely. Well, you found the right channel for that, Rose, because that's what I do here. I talk about a lot of the corruption, a lot of the bullcrap, if you will, that's going on inside of our prisons and the system as a whole. So thank you so much for being here. And then Joe said earlier, I'm in PHX, Arizona. Rose, you're quite a way away. Still Friday here. Yep. Different time zone, different everything. You're correct, Joe. Thank you so much. And Rose did say it's Saturday in Australia, and she said it's lunchtime. Wow. Well, pretty soon it'll be my bedtime here where I'm at. Well, anyways, it doesn't matter what time it is or what you're doing. I appreciate you guys being in here. All right. And then Rose said, "Hey, Joe. Yep, across the oceans. Yep. I call it jump across the pond." Nonetheless, I'm glad you guys are in here. All right. So before we get into the facts of the show tonight about false allegations and the hearsay stuff, let me go ahead and do a share screen and give out a nice little respect video clip, if you will, for this very interesting Memorial Day weekend. With that being said, let's go ahead and show the clip. And then after that, we'll go ahead and get into the data for tonight's show. With that said, let's go ahead and honor our vets and our military for tonight. Well, there you guys go. That was put on by that great channel over there. I will have that description of that video a little bit later when I edit this. I do apologize on that. I was going to say his name and I just totally spaced on what it was, but nonetheless, there it is, guys. And I just want to give a major shout out to everybody that are sending prayers and all that. That was a hard video to watch. Anyways, Tammy said this real quick. Please pray for all the veterans who are yet prosecuted by the just system in their own country. They fought so hard. Absolutely. And let's welcome everybody. Please give a warm welcome to our friend Tammy. How you doing, Tammy?
I'm doing good. How are you? Thank God it's Friday.
Yeah, we made it to another one. Can you imagine that?
Imagine that.
Yeah. So what did you think of that little video clip I did there about our troops?
I was crying. I was thinking about my dad, and he gave the ultimate price. He died from Agent Orange.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You ever seen Lord of the Rings? I'm sure you have, right?
I can't remember when, but I think
Lord
so.
of the Rings and Smeagol, my precious, the ring.
Oh, yeah.
The guy that carries around the ring, and he's all skinny, and you see all his ligaments and tendons and his spinal cord and all that in it.
Yeah.
That's how my father looked when he died.
Wow. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. I mean, it just, it hits home because I'm military, but I wish Curtis was in here.
Yeah, well, I did that for him too. If he ever does get in here or watches it later or whatnot, it was for him too as well. So,
thank you, Curtis.
Yeah. But anyways, I got to get out of this before I get all misty and because
yes, we have to because it makes me cry. My husband's a vet too.
Yeah, well, you got to keep in mind, Tammy, which I'm pretty sure you know this too, and everybody in the chat. You guys have to understand that not a lot of people understand what this Memorial Day weekend's all about. They think it's days off from work and barbecues and parties and have fun and this and that. But we wouldn't be able to do any of that if it wasn't for them. So I want them to understand that. So that's why I kind of did my background a little different and just changed the scenery for tonight because this is Memorial Day weekend, and that's why we're doing it. But anyways, Tammy, are you? I'm pretty sure you're aware of the topic tonight called false allegations and hearsay stuff. What's your take on that topic tonight?
Well, it hits home very personally for me. Mm-hmm. I want to see the hearsay law gone completely. I want it abolished. Mm-hmm. I am going to fight for the rest of my living, breathing life. So until that law is gone, I've seen way too many people, men and women, go to prison unjustly based on somebody opening their mouth and saying and making an accusation or teaching their child to make an accusation or manipulating the system to be in mostly, say, even boyfriends and girlfriends. I've seen it in that context too, where one gets pissed at the other and all of a sudden, oh, you touched my kid, or oh, you did this to me, or oh, you did that to me. Anywhere from domestic violence to RA or any of that. And the problem is, if there's no proof, there's no proof. Correct. If there is not scientifically backed evidence, like if I don't see it in a video, or I didn't see it with my own eyes, or there's not stuff that shows me exactly what happened, then I'm not going to sit there. Weren't we all taught, like, not to accuse people of shit if we didn't know it was them or not? Weren't we all taught that as kids?
No, you raise a great question and point there. You would think from what you just said, and of course the data is going to show it here tonight too to back it up. You would think that common sense would be there a lot more than just, pointing fingers, if that makes any sense. And believe it or not, guys, pointing fingers, all kids nowadays have to do this, and that's it. You're screwed.
Yeah.
This pointing finger, you're screwed. If you get pointed at, you're done.
Like,
you're done.
Some of these child advocacy places and groups and stuff
yeah
have been proven to they actually have a hidden agenda. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? They stay in business if kids are quote unquote abused.
yeah,
They're
imagine that.
not about the truth.
Oh,
I
I know,
promise you.
I know. But we are.
We are. Yes, and that's why we're in this fight together because you know,
Mhm.
somebody said to me tonight, "Oh, the hearsay law needs to go." I said, "Okay, we'll quit talking about it and do something."
Yeah,
I
no,
said, "This
absolutely.
is a problem. We all sit back and we talk about things and we complete no action. The
Right.
more of us that get together and do things, the more we can accomplish."
Well, we're going to
I've
be
done two petitions I'm putting out, by the way.
oh, you're good. But no, just keep in mind, everybody that's in the chat and everybody watching wherever you're at, understand this. We have the data to back up our stuff here tonight, and it's. I think a lot of you guys are going to be quite shocked. And again, credit goes to Tammy for sending that to me. You'll see that here in just a second. But my good friend Rose, which I highly respect, she lives in Australia, guys. If you missed my introduction earlier, but anyway, she goes this: believe all victims is harmful because it implies due process isn't necessary. Very interesting comment there. And thank you, Rose, for that. I appreciate you. Orphan Annie said this: dear veteran, thank you for your service and all that you do for our country. Absolutely.
Oh,
Thank you so much, Orphan, for that. I appreciate that. So, Tammy, are you ready for us to dig into the data here tonight?
sure, absolutely. Which article are you gonna use
Gosh, I
for?
got I got three of them that you sent me. I'm trying to figure out which one. Do you have them all with you by chance in front of you?
I do. I just need to. Okay,
I'll just
let's.
go ahead.
Shoot. I think starting out like help for parents. I think that's a good one.
Okay, we'll go there then. Just get me my settings fixed up here.
Okay, help for parents wrongly accused of child abuse.
Yeah.
So this.
Okay.
So
Go
think
ahead, Tammy.
about this too. Okay, so false allegations go all the way from being falsely. Say you have a friend, your kids go to school, the kids get into an argument, and one little girl says, "Well, so and so's very mean to me at school." The two moms get in an entanglement, so one mom, out of spite, calls CPS on the other mom for
Hmm.
being such and such and such, just because she wants to be a bitch and reporter, right?
Hmm.
So then here you have boom, boom, boom. You got DFS or DHS or
Hmm.
CPS, depending on what state you're in or
Correct.
what country. I don't know what it's called in England or Australia or any of those countries, but feel free to let us know in the comments what it's called in
Yeah.
yours. But the Child Welfare Agency comes
Mm.
stomping at your door. Now,
Hmm.
if you ever get curious, guys, go look up what the credentials are to become an investigator for any child protective service agency. Please look at their credentials and then get back with me, please,
Yeah.
because
Correct.
it'll blow your mind. But
Because
anyway,
I don't know if you know this, Tammy, which I'm pretty sure you do, because I
yeah,
think you mentioned a while back that you used to work in that field in a sense when it comes to working with children of all different ages and issues and whatnot. But I don't really have a lot of high respect, if you will, when it comes to CPS or anything that has some kind of tie to government. But let's be honest, I'm going to be blunt right here on this program and say this: CPS as a whole, like any other organizations that deal with this type of nonsense, CPS is pretty well known for kidnapping and dealing with kids. I mean, they're the biggest kidnapping organization out there, and that's my opinion. I mean, again, if I'm wrong, I'm ready to see your data to back up my claim on that if I'm wrong, because that's how I look at it. And I don't know if you feel the same, Tammy, but I do. I've had nothing but, I guess you could say bad luck back in the past when it comes to that organization. They're not there for us at all. So that's my
I
opinion.
think that it comes down to, can those people, I'm going to call them those people because that's how I feel about it
Fair enough.
right now. Those people, those individuals, can they use common sense and discernment when allegations are put up? I know of a case where a child put makeup on their face, went to school, told the teacher that they hit that the parent hit them, and they
Mhm.
didn't. The parent did not hit them, and they let the child go home. Teacher
Welcome in,
reported
Tin
it to
Man.
the
How you doing?
principal.
Thank you so much for being here, Tin Man.
Teacher called the principal, said, "Hey, this kid got hit. She's got a bruise on her face. Da 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 da." Nonetheless, never got sent to the nurse or anything. Kid went home for the whole weekend. Then CPS showed up, or DHS, whatever, and the kid didn't have a bruise by Monday from being hit on a Thursday night with an object that they said they got hit with, because kid never got hit. Kid lied
Hmm.
for attention and
Hmm.
put makeup on her face, and nobody called it to question.
Wow.
The case was dismissed, but not after making the parents and the whole family go
Gosh.
through hell.
Yeah.
For what?
See? Yeah.
Because the kid wanted attention.
Yeah. Well, and as you guys can see, here's more proof that I like to do on my show instead of just putting just statements out there. I like to have stuff that backs up what we're saying. So again, it's the title says here on this page, "Help for Parents Wrongly Accused of Child Abuse," and it happens on the daily, ladies and gentlemen. And then it says here how to respond to false I'm sorry, I can't even talk tonight. Woohoo!
Allegations.
Yeah. But anyways, it was updated on November 3rd, 2023 for your guys' information. But there it is. Tammy, I don't know if you want to read it, but we can go ahead and read it. I'll
Okay,
pull
so
down.
I'm going to kind of breeze through it and give the different highlights, because I know we got two more to go through.
Okay,
So
go ahead, Tim.
basically, this is a really good article, guys, because it goes into the investigation of the allegations, how to respond when a child accuses you, and denial of visitation or custody. So if you've been falsely accused of child abuse, you're not alone. Unfortunately, unfounded accusations of child abuse can be common, particularly in high conflict custody battles.
Mhm.
Tempers can escalate quickly. Now, on that note, I want to say there is a trend in this country. I've said it many times on Jay's show, um, where parents are using their children. That's why the title looked the way it did tonight for the show.
Mhm.
Parents are using their children as weapons against one another
Absolutely.
in
I've been in that position.
all those custody. And there are step parents that get accused of things because the other parent is not getting their way in whatever's going on, and it leads to conviction without evidence.
There you go.
And that's what our problem is, folks. We're voting these DAs and these judges into office. We are doing it
Absolutely.
to ourselves.
Mhm.
We have to stop the madness. We have to. Okay, so it's true that judges err on the side of caution when it comes to children's safety. However, judges do not favor limiting parental rights unless it's absolutely necessary, and they're well aware of that false accusations are made often.
Mhm.
And it says that the court will thoroughly investigate any and all claims of abuse.
Sure they
But
do.
here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. So I don't necessarily agree with everything in this article. Um, the court system is overwrought and overwhelmed with cases.
Mhm.
Half the time, the judges don't even read anything. They take everything at face value that's in court, depending
Mhm.
on who's got the stronger argument. They're the bench, meaning who has the public pretender and who doesn't.
Right.
Um, that's what it comes down to. But if you are a victim of child abuse, please be mindful. There are victims out there. There are people, and there are
Yes.
professional crisis counselors. They do have those numbers in this article.
Eh, right here.
Yeah. So if you do feel the need, the 1-800-422-4453. They do
Yes.
have that. But this is another thing: investigations of child abuse allegation. In all cases of alleged abuse, the judge will thoroughly investigate each claim before awarding custody or visitation. This often leads to time consuming and expensive examinations by medical and mental health experts, which can be
Yes.
especially burdensome for the children.
Absolutely.
So it affects the kids, and that's what's so sad. Family Protective Services, at the order of the judge, may also become involved in the investigation. This can become quite intrusive. For example, Child Protective Services staff will question people close to you about your behavior and your parenting. And believe me, sometimes this ends up costing people their way to make a living. They get fired from their jobs. They go through
Yep.
all kinds of crap. So, if a judge determines that a parent has made a false allegation in an attempt to influence a child custody decision, they may order the accusing parent to pay court costs and to the other parent, and even modify the custody arrangements in favor of the accused. In many cases, you can also sue someone for false accusations about child neglect or abuse.
Absolutely.
This is the problem I have. Why the hell aren't they getting put in jail? Why aren't they
That
not serving some time? Because
that
you'll be
you make a
really
great
quick.
point on that. You make a great
Yeah.
point on that. I think there should be a law under that.
Yeah, because you'll go to jail for non-support. Why can't
Oh, I
they go
know.
to jail for false allegations? You're wasting the court's time, you're wasting law enforcement's time, you're wasting state agency money, and I'm a taxpayer and I don't feel like paying those bills.
Backwards thinking.
Yep, yep. And then we'll go on down. Consequences of making false report vary but in many states, false reporting of a child abuse is considered a misdemeanor, and multiple false accusations can be considered felonies. So
Hmm.
even though plenty of parents try it, making false allegations in an attempt to win child custody rarely pays off.
Hmm.
Well, if they'd start enforcing some of these laws they make that they're not doing,
Imagine that.
it might stop it. I don't know. Um, is it a crime to falsely accuse someone? In many states, it is considered a crime if someone intentionally lies to authorities by saying another person committed child abuse when they did not. In
Wow.
11 states, penalties include a $500 to $5,000 charge or spending 90 days or 5 years in prison. I would like to see where they've actually used that law in those 11 states. I'd like to see that, but that's
That's
just me.
crazy.
How to respond to an accusation of child abuse. Few actions you can take, and I'm just going to read those. Comply with the investigation and be as cooperative as possible. I will tell you right now, go get a private attorney and do not stop at the word go. Just go. Just go.
Right.
Don't look the other way and keep your mouth shut till you talk to your attorney. And
Correct.
then cooperate. I am not a legal advisor. I am not an attorney. I'm not a
Mhm.
paralegal. I'm just telling you, go
Right.
get yourself an attorney. I am
Yeah.
highly, my opinion,
Yep.
recommend it.
And we can't, and ladies and gentlemen, that people are in the chat and watching wherever you're watching at, keep in mind, we cannot give legal advice. We're not attorneys, but we are where we can give out facts on
Very
this.
opinionated people as well as my
Right.
freedom of
This,
speech right here. So,
right. This is for educational purposes only, guys. So take it as you want.
and
Carry on.
entertainment.
Yep.
You can gather relevant evidence to support your case. I recommend do not erase a text. Do not interact with people when they start doing things that are just off the wall. Just document, 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 document.
Yep.
Record, record, record. Find out what your state's laws are on recording conversations. There are
Mhm.
tons of apps for it now. You can record a conversation in a lot of states. Just see
Mhm.
what your laws are. Know your rights. People, know your rights.
Correct.
Let your family and friends know what's going on. The more people who can bear witness and could help your cause as far as you protecting yourself against false allegations, the
Hmm.
best thing to do is be open and honest with your friends. Don't try and hide it out of embarrassment, because I promise you, no matter what you do to hide and run, it is still going to come out.
Correct.
Ask loved ones if they are willing to be interviewed or provide written statements that they have not seen you mistreat your child. And if anybody ever needs a template for an affidavit, for a basic affidavit that you can print up yourself and do for a sworn statement, just make sure you use a notary. for whoever writes that statement for you so that it will be legal. And they need to use a notary where they're located, not where you're located, where they're located.
Right.
Okay. Um, and then, Jay, I think we can skip over a lot of this. What to
Okay.
do when a child falsely accuses you. Um,
You
my
want to move on? You want to move on to something else?
Yeah, I think you guys can just get into this and delve into every little article in this.
Yeah. It's in
But
the
there
it's in
is
the
a
it's in the
syndrome.
description. This is in the description, so they can go look at it later.
Yeah, this is important. It's the only thing I want to read to you guys in this that really want people to be aware of. There's a thing that's called malicious parent syndrome.
Mhm.
Malicious parent syndrome is a term used to describe the consistent actions of one parent to influence their child to reject or turn away from their other parent. The parent exhibiting signs of malicious parent syndrome may blame, ridicule, or reject their child's other parent without justifiable cause. The parent who
Correct.
is on the receiving end of the behaviors linked with the malicious parent syndrome may experience parental alienation from their child. The child may believe they are rejecting this parent on their own terms, not realizing that the other parent has influenced them to do so.
Right.
So keep that in mind, people. Like, kids are not the blame of adult problems.
No,
Keep the kids out of adult issues. What
I
is
agree.
so hard with that?
I agree.
Like, and family will do it too. They
Mhm.
will do it in a heartbeat. They will turn your kids against you if they want to be malicious and ugly.
Right. Well,
They
I
will
don't think
manipulate.
me personally, I don't think any kid, depending on what age we're looking at here, I don't think any kid should be around or dealing with adult type conversations or anything adult related. I think it should be separated.
Yeah, it shouldn't. You should be able to at least be cordial with the parent. Meet them in a public place. Keep
Mhm.
yourself protected. Be smart about it.
And record it.
Yes,
Get it on video.
yes.
Yeah.
Get a dash cam. Whatever you got to do.
Yep. You got to do what you
Protect
got to do to protect
yourself.
yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Man said this and lead to conviction without evidence. Absolutely, that's you're spot on, Tim Man. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to be going through these statements here quite fast, so we got a lot to try to dig into. But Mark said this. I believe it's Mark. Anyways, I was used to. I'm sorry. I was used as a pawn to it. Leave scars on the children. Children should never suffer for adult games. Absolutely. Thank you, Mark, for that. I appreciate you. And of course, you said this too as well. Everybody's on fire tonight, as always, and I appreciate that. Mark said, well, as convicted felon too, it makes it even worse when you're falsely accused because I was told I couldn't even be a character witness because I'm a felon. Nobody believes us. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Mark, because believe it or not, once you become a felon, your credibility when it comes to truthful anything is shot. And I think that's
Sorry, I don't
absolutely,
mean to be ugly, but we just had another officer in Texas arrested for
wow.
smuggling contraband in, a
Wow, imagine
female
that.
officer. And so, what are
In-
they honest? Are they honest, Abe? Are they honest, Abe now? We're going to put them on the stand because they don't do anything wrong. I mean, like, it's almost comical. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Yes.
Orphan Annie, my good friend Orphan Annie, gets in here says false allegations to Adult Protective Services from a family member for alleged abuse. Absolutely, I think I can relate to this to a certain extent. Is why we are suing for malicious prosecution. There was an arrest with zero evidence and no proper investigation. There again, Tammy. There you go. Another imagine that
Honey, you
moment.
and I need to talk because
God.
that sounds exactly like my husband's case. It's sickening. Okay, so the other one, Jay, the one that I'm going to is the one that said in the subject line, I think it said false allegations.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll pop.
false
Yeah.
allegations.
Okay, I'll pop that up here in just a second. Let me get these comments out of the way first. We still got plenty of time. False allegations to adult protection services from a family member or alleged abuse is why we are suing for malicious protection. There was an arrest with zero evidence and no proper investigation. That was orphan. I said that earlier. Sorry about that. Rose said this. Something that concerns me as a registered offender is the lack of focus of concern from media. Imagine that. Police uh, and the government about physical, emotional, and neglect-based abuse of kids. Yeah, thank you so much for that, Rose. Tin Man said this. Just bear with me for a second, Tammy. Tin Man said this at basically Mark. No one wanted to hear about my father-in-law's drug ring. He's a highway patrolman because they put away on false allegations. Imagine that. Mark said this: a Wild Child Protective Services is investigating a false claim a child that really is being abused can slip through the cracks. Absolutely for that. Thank you so much. Tim Man said this: exactly how many kids who are actually abused don't get help because the system is flooded with false allegations. Gosh. You're always better off with a lawyer than on your own when it comes to legal matters. But keep in mind, even though that's correct, but keep in mind, a lot of attorneys today don't do shit for us, believe it or not. They won't work for us or get off our case or anything. But anyways, Tim said this. Yes, I believe in airtight CYA policy. Cover your ass. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. Stand by, Tammy. Sorry, there's a lot here. In my neck of the woods, a false report is a Class D felony. Wow. Under Tennessee law, it carries 2 to 12 years in jail with a full range of punishment. Imagine that.
It's just getting that enforced. That's the problem.
Right. No,
it's all
but
in
yeah.
good nature, but if we're not enforcing them, what the hell's the point of having the law?
Yeah. So that's another. You're on fire tonight.
I can prove lies. And I can prove bullshit all day long.
Yeah.
But if the agency doesn't act upon those things, I mean, how much worse can you get than the accuser, than the mother of the child sleeping with the lead detective? I mean, what more can you get than that?
No, that supposedly never happens either. Yeah.
You know? Jesus.
Orvanani said this. I'm sorry. Parent syndrome refused to situation in which a divorced that's another thing. See right there. She took the words right out of my mouth. Divorce or a major foul breakup makes the female or the other half go ballistic and cause lies. I've been there, done that.
if there's some, like a cheater or somebody that leads
on,
oh, I'm so in love with you, and then they go mess with somebody else, and then the girl gets mad and she's like, oh, you did.
And I think people that do that,
and they do it all the time.
I think people that do that, with all due respect to females and the ladies out there, I think that if ladies do that, they should go to jail and prison for that. Absolutely.
Yeah, because the way that they ruin that person's lives, and that's the thing, though. It makes me like, I don't dating. I'm glad I'm not a guy. I couldn't do it. I'd be scared to date somebody with children.
Right.
Seriously.
Today, you can't. I know, and it's sad because it's sad because back in the day, it wasn't an issue. That was all neat and.
It was, yeah. Yeah. I mean, you were a stand-up guy if you did it back when. And now it's scary.
Mm-hmm. Rose said this: unfortunately, when it comes to police these days, you need a lawyer, lawyers, guns, maybe not literally, but weapons of protection and money. Absolutely. If you don't have any of those, you're screwed. Orphan said, once you do your time, your name should be cleared from being called a felon. 100%. I totally agree with that. Why do we have to have this 24-hour, 24/7 punishment is beyond me. I don't get it. Anyway, it says this. Mark said, the hypocrisy of the whole system is sickening. Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And Rose said this. Orphan Annie, do the crime, do the time. Done, no more punishment. Absolutely. And last but not least, and we'll get into the data. Wanda said this: "I've learned that having an attorney is worse than having one at times." Yeah, they don't do nothing for us. Absolutely nothing. All right,
It's all
Tammy, we're
about the
gonna.
money. If you pay the money and you get the right attorney, it's got to be somebody. You got to have money.
It's all about the
I
good almighty
think
dollar.
that we should have been taught years and years ago when we were young, finance classes and to save up money for attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it wasn't that one, but I can go to that one if I need to. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. What was the other one?
The other one is it says allegations, false allegations
Oh, this
in
is
the
the one.
subject line.
This is the one.
No, it's okay. It's like Bloomsbury Law Office PC, Cecil Lawyers or something like that.
All right, let me
Let
see.
me
Let me
see.
see. Is it this one?
Yep, that's
Okay,
it.
my bad. All right, there you
It's
go.
okay. No, it's okay. It's just because I had already. Sorry, guys. Um, One of the most common questions that arises when a person has been accused of child abuse is why would the child lie? Many
Yeah.
social workers and investigators often think that they know how to tell whether or not a child is telling the truth about an allegation, but they
Hmm.
often overlook obvious clues and signposts that may signal that a child is making a false allegation. Three
Absolutely.
separate types of false allegations. Children will often make false allegations of abuse in the following three situations. One, children will often make false claims of abuse because they have been led to believe in those allegations by a powerful authority figure like a parent.
Imagine that.
Number two, children may often come to truly believe that they have been abused because young children often do not have the capacity to accurately recall memories and may resort to fantasy and make believe to fill in the gaps.
Hmm.
Number three, children are intentionally lying about their abuse to please a parent or other authority figure.
Been there, done that.
And I've seen that. I've seen all three of those instances. So, authority figure influenced children may often make false accusations of abuse when they are prompted by an adult authority figure. These adults may have a wide variety of motivations for implanting these false notions of abuse in children.
Correct.
These range from ex husbands, wives attempting to gain advantage against their ex spouse in custody disputes, to adults infecting their children with their own delusions and paranoia. And listen, you also have this whole spin about you have somebody that's actually the offender and they're about to get caught, so what do? They throw it off on somebody else so that they don't have to, or they're
Oh,
protecting maybe another
that's
person
not
in their life that they know.
that's not shocking.
No, not at all. So, I mean, many parents suffer from delusional disorder, schizophrenia, paranoid personality disorder, and other mental disorders.
Correct.
So, just keep that in mind. Mental illness has a lot to do with this. Children's abilities to accurately recall and formulate true memories. Simply stated, children have trouble separating fact from fiction.
Hmm.
I mean, the brain is not fully developed till when, Jay? Come on, I
25.
know you know it. Okay, so come on, guys. How do we
Yeah,
ever really know?
and that's backed up
Unless
by
you can
science.
see it, how
Hmm.
can you ruin? I'm not discrediting crediting victims. That hits home to me.
Hmm.
But what I am gonna say is there's way too much of this going on and we're letting it, and we have to stop it. We have to bring some kind of gauge to it, some kind of balance of
Hmm.
truth and fiction.
Correct.
And we can't just go around pointing fingers and ruining people's lives without actually proving it.
Well, keep in mind, Tammy, keep in mind, this is for everybody, not just you as a whole, but keep in mind the kids today, which I've seen this, kids today, and even the parents, the young parents, the ones that are not fully developed, because, these parents are young having kids, so kids having kids. Nonetheless, these people that do this, they think it's a joke. They think it's a game. They think it's funny. But in the tail end of it, it ruins people's lives. And I can't stress that enough to all of you that are watching this right now. If somebody is going to plan a joke or make a game out of this, that's not a laughing matter. That ruins people's lives. I'm saying that from experience. So take it from
And
me.
they never sat there in that prison cell like you have. And
No,
like
they
other
don't.
people
They
have.
didn't have to
They
go
have
through
no
any of
idea.
that. So right, exactly. So my point is, I don't think it's a funny joke. I don't think it's a game. And all you women out there need to quit it. Real talk. Grow up.
All the men out there coming for me and women,
Mhm.
stop ruining your kids. Stop screwing them up, and stop doing it to
Well,
the other person.
yeah, quit.
Think about what you're doing, and listen, we all answer for what we do one way or another. If you believe in God, you don't, there
Correct.
is a balance. Everything that goes up comes down. And
Oh,
let
I
me
agree.
tell you, you may be on the high telling all those lies, living your best life, doing what you got to do,
Mhm.
incarcerating that person and all that, but I promise you, at the end of the day, somewhere in this world, that is going to come back to you. It will come back. And when it
Yep.
does,
It's called karma.
karma, that's right, in the laws of the universe. And it does come back around.
Yep.
It does.
So
I think with
yeah, I
this
think it.
article, we're done, though, Jay, because most of it, I mean, a lot of it's.
Okay. If you want to read that last paragraph right here, then we'll get out.
Okay, let me see. We got to get back to it. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Says sometimes parents are motivated. So you want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right, guys. So we're going to read this last paragraph, and then we're going to come back into the chat because I'm falling behind. And if I have to, I'll stay over a little bit than my normal time just for this because it is Memorial Day weekend, and I won't see you guys until probably Tuesday or no, I'm sorry, Wednesday. So, anyways, sometimes parents are motivated to enlist their children into false allegations of abuse. Okay, pay attention, ladies and gentlemen, because they suffer from much, and this is a thing. Munchausen, I can't say that word.
Munchausen syndrome.
Yeah, it's an actual real thing. It's not hype. That's a real thing. Okay, it's like a disability. If I'm not mistaken, it's in the brain nonetheless. All right, and
It's a
this
mental
syndrome
illness.
occurred. What's that?
It's a mental illness and
Correct.
a physical mental illness.
Correct. But this syndrome occurs when a parent acquires an overwhelming desire to seek sympathy and approval from others due to an illness or injury to their child. Kind of like the Gypsy Rose thing. More on that later if there's time. People suffer from this symptom may often falsely tell people that their children are suffering from fake illness or going through some false trauma in order to obtain sympathy from their peers. In context of abuse allegations, parents suffering from Munchausen syndrome will implant false memories of sexual or physical abuse in children so that they can reap the physiological rewards of getting approved and attention from others. Yeah, so basically, it's
Yeah.
just nothing. They want attention.
So the same thing goes like this is kind of along that lines, but it says intentional false allegations. Um Sometimes a child may intentionally lie. There are many reasons why a child may intentionally lie, make a false claim of abuse. Sometimes they are encouraged to lie by a parent engaged in a child custody dispute. Sometimes they are motivated to lie to get back at a parent for disciplining them. That's happened a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes foster children may intentionally lie about their foster parents so that they can go back home to live with their biological parents.
Correct.
Some children lie to get attention.
Imagine that.
Other children lie because they feel peer pressure to jump on the bandwagon of abuse. Whatever the reason, false allegations of abuse can have a devastating impact on you and your family. It is very important that you have an attorney on your side who is familiar with all the ways in which a child will lie and the signs that a child will exhibit when they are lying.
Hmm.
So just remember that, guys. I mean, I can't
Yeah.
stress enough. It just cover your ass, cover your ass, cover your ass,
You
cover
have
your
to be
ass.
prepared today because people are scandalous out
They
here.
are.
People
They
don't
are.
care what's going to happen to you as long as they get some kind of benefit out of it. So my opinion and a suggestion for you guys, if you ever go through this, I hope you don't, but for shits and giggles, if you do, keep in mind you need to prepare yourself, like Tammy said, and everybody else has been saying this too. You have to prepare yourself, and that means everything and anything, because obviously we're dealing with, like Tammy said, and it's also in the title description of this video, we're talking about hearsay. That's hearsay. When somebody says this, somebody says that, it happens. It happens all the time. Prepare yourself. Make sure you record every interaction that you're dealing with. Orphan Annie said this in Luke 11:46. Jesus says, "Woe to you, experts in law, because you load people down with burdens they can hardly carry." Absolutely. And you yourselves will not lift one finger to help them. And that is so true. So true. These lawyers don't do nothing. It's all about the money. Jesus also says that these men persuade others on what is truth, but they were not prophets called by God. Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for your comments, man. I appreciate you guys. Tim Man, my friend, said this: the punishment should be equal to the punishment that would have been received for the false conviction. Absolutely. Thank you, Tim Man. Appreciate you, boss. The scripture from Luke 11:46. Wow, Orphan Annie. Absolutely. I agree. And that was, for Rose. And then justice should be free. Thank you, Tin Man, for that. Hey, Curtis, welcome in, Curtis. Thank you so much for being here. I know it's the tail end of the show, but nonetheless, we're going to be. I'm going to stay a little bit longer than I usually do just to get some of this stuff done and get in the chat. But thank you, anyways, for being here, Curtis. And if you missed the beginning, I did a little thing for you and all military members that served in our military. Again, Curtis, thank you so much for your service. As you can see, I have a lot of patriotic material up in here tonight for you and whatnot. So again, Curtis, thank you so much for being here and serving in this country.
Service and sacrifice. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's what I meant too.
Yes, I had to tell him, though. I wanted to tell him. It's okay.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
Orphan Annie said, kids having kids. Absolutely, they are. And Rose said, hi, Curtis. And then Orphan said this real quick. Curtis Roberts, you got this, I think. Yeah. And then Rose said, absolutely, Jay, there's a human cost to I'm sorry. Absolutely, Jay. There's a human cost to prosecution. Absolutely. That's what I'm trying to say. God, I can't talk tonight. False allegations can happen regardless of person's gender. It goes both ways. Absolutely, guys.
Agree.
Feminism has produced some problematic narratives like believe all victims. Correct. Wanda said, Annie, there sure is. Sorry, hon, wasn't ignoring you. Had to go delete more unnecessary comments off of my news break. So much hate. I'm sorry you're dealing with that.
Sorry, Wanda. People are so ignorant.
People are just sick in the head. They like drama.
They do it for attention.
It sells. Keep in mind, Wanda, it sells. They make money off of it. All right. Orphan said this: Luke 12:2-3, King James Version. There is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Absolutely. Therefore, whatsoever we have spoken in darkness shall be heard. Absolutely. Absolutely, Rose Hun. Searching for answers in. Oh, okay. Got it. Understand. Mark said this. It's a proven statistical fact that a child that has a loving mother, and a loving father working together for the benefit of the child has a better chance of success in life. Boom. I couldn't have said that better. What do you think about that, Tammy? That's a great comment. Thank you, Mark.
Totally agree. Mm-hmm. Same thing for community. Think about it, a village to raise a child. Mm-hmm. And if everybody that is in the child's life has that spontaneity, not just the parents. If you see people struggling around you and you can help, By God, why is it so hard to do that? To care, have compassion, to
Yeah.
see. Open
Yeah.
your eyes.
Hmm.
What is it going to take? I
I,
don't know. I don't have the
man,
answers,
it's
but I
amazing how
know
that
we're part
question,
of the solution.
it's amazing how that question that you just asked there, Tammy, can never get answered.
True.
Yeah. Right on, Rose. Thank you so much for that comment too, as well. Man, you guys are, I love every single one of you guys do. I mean, I seriously do. Everybody here is just absolutely, uh, obviously very knowledgeable in this stuff. Mark said this, we're doing good mentally and spiritually, physically felt better, but the spiritual is what matters the most. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Wanda says, by one parent to lie on the other. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, John, how's it going? Thank you so much for being here, John. I appreciate you. We are going to stay over my time limit, but that's okay. I like this is a great place to kick it with you guys, so I'd rather be here than nowhere else. Anyways, Orphan said this. I think too many children are What is that word? I'm sorry, Orphan. That's a interesting word. I don't think I've ever seen that word before. But hey,
Haphazardly.
oh,
Child, I think too many children are haphazardly
conceived.
conceived and too many parents that should not be parents.
Yeah.
I agree, but what do you do? And then, okay. Yeah, this one hits home, Rose. I got to tell you that it stabs me in the heart.
Mm-hmm.
That is at the root of my husband's case.
Yep.
Um, People
People
want
want
revenge,
revenge, not
not
justice.
justice.
Yeah.
You know, at some point when you're rejected by a party, you can do one thing. You can take the high road and just go, you know what? That person didn't value me enough not to cheat.
Mm-hmm.
Or that person didn't value me enough to be honest with me. They led me along a road and pretended like they gave a shit about me, and they really didn't. And I
Mm-hmm.
can speak from this because I've been there. And
Mm-hmm.
you just take the high road and you leave and you go, I have to love myself enough to leave this bad situation. Or,
Right.
hey, God bless them and move on. But that's not what some people do. They're not built that way. They want to hurt the other person as much as they've been hurt.
Yeah.
But what do they say? Two wrongs don't make a right. And the thing about the whole
I
thing
was
about,
taught that as a little kid. I was always taught that.
yeah. And so you think about that and you go, okay, this person hurt me. I need to get out of this relationship. Obviously, they're not in it the way I am. So I need to get out. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So what do? Do you get out and you really just walk away? You get away from the toxic person, wish them well. They're going to keep doing their toxic behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And you could get a chance to get what was really meant for you. But no, what people do now is they're petty as AF and they go and they say, oh, Jay, you know what? I can't stand you. You did da 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 da, and I didn't like it. So I'm going to nail
Yeah.
you to the cross, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get a Judas. That's what you
Yeah.
get. But a Judas is not. Look at what Judas did to Jesus.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
look at this comment that Orphan Annie just left. She couldn't be more spot the hell on this one. Excuse my French,
We
guys.
just
But
had
anyways,
this conversation, Annie, today. Jay and I did.
yeah. It says this, Orphan said this, guys, in the chat. You guys can see it on the screen. It says this, most lawyers are in it for the money. Absolutely, no doubt. Just look at the 33% injury lawyers on average make off each settlement case they win. 33% of $100,000 equals $33,000 that they get off of you. That's fair. God. So it's ridiculous. It's all about the good almighty dollar. Nothing else matters. Like I said, money is the root of all evil. That's how I look at it. But thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to, obviously, we're over our time limit, but I'm going to stay in here unless you guys get tired of seeing this. But put your guys' comments and whatnot, what you guys think about tonight's topic about the false allegations, because it happens on a daily, every day. As I'm sitting here right now talking to you fine people and my good friend Tammy, somebody's being falsely accused and all this hearsay stuff. So, what's your guys' take on some of this topic tonight? Put your comments, your questions, your concerns and whatnot in the chat tonight, and go from there. And while you're doing that, please hit and smash the like button for this video, guys. Tonight, I do a lot of work to put these on. Of course, others also put the work in there to help me make these podcasts epic. At least I try to, anyways. And if you're new here, please hit the sub and hit that all notification bell. That way, you guys will get notified on whatever device you watch me on when I go live or upload a new video right here in our studios from Inside Out. But anyways, with that being said, Tammy, as you know, I have a lot to say about this, and there's just never no time to get what I want to say out. But I will say this: I think honestly, when it comes to the hearsay stuff and false allegations, if I am correct, I believe a lot of the hearsay stuff that we hear is not in lot. And I'm not saying all courts, but at least a majority of them don't allow hearsay in our courts. What's your take on that, Tammy?
Well, I personally, I have been in situations. Take your situation, Jay. How I ended up being on this show with you was the fact that some people made some allegations against you.
Yep.
And they were all talking bad about you and trying to sway me to not even come in and support you. And because they were pushing me so damn hard, I said, wait a minute. Jay hasn't said a word to me. What in the hell is going on? And I used, you know what? Common sense.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Common sense. And I said, something's not right with this.
Yeah.
What in the hell? Something's not right with this. And then I went to you like an adult and I said, hey, Jay.
And I appreciate that.
We talked. And you and I talked and we had the best talk ever. And
yeah,
you
it was
have
epic.
anything ugly to say.
No.
And we got down to the root of the problem. And I was like, you know what? I'm loyal. I believe in respect. I believe in truth.
Well,
I will tell the truth. I don't care.
Well, and keep in mind, Tammy, in that one, and it was, I don't want to say it was weird or awkward how we met, but we met, and obviously we met for a reason for this to happen the way things are happening now. And I thank God I met you, and thank God that you're not judgmental or, like the rest of them, doing what you do and thinking it's okay to do it. But nonetheless, what I'm saying with you is it's amazing how we just collabed and started talking. And I was upfront with you, even though I didn't do it on some of the lives when we first met, like say, for example, on those other platforms and all that. I like it like this. I was the one that came to you or vice versa, and I kept it real with you 100%. I didn't have nothing to hold back. But I wanted to make sure, because again, I have a big trust issue with everybody. So I had to be careful because I didn't know where your mindset was at that time. But now that I got to know you and all that, I think things turned out beautifully, in my personal opinion. And thank you for doing that.
It helped us both grow, and we've been able to help each other through a lot of things that have been rough. Things I don't know that I could have got through without the support of everybody here, including you. Many nights of conversations when I was falling to pieces.
Yeah.
I've never been through this, and that's the real reality of things. I don't know if we have time, but I really want to get to the psychiatric times one that you had up a while ago because it's very important.
Yeah. Well, let me ask. I mean, because I passed my time already, and I already said I was going to do that. That's okay. I'm going to ask the chat. I'm going to ask everybody that's watching wherever you're at. Do you guys want me to?
Helpful.
Yeah. Do you guys want me to stay in here a little bit longer, or do you guys want me to go ahead and go and do this for a later time? Let me know. Put your answer in the chat. You want me to stay here, or do you guys are sick and tired of hearing me or seeing me? We'll wait till some of the answers, and if not, it's totally understandable. I'm definitely past my time to do these podcasts. I have 20 people in here, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think keep the momentum. I love this. You'll get to it in a minute. You'll see it in a minute. Go ahead. This one says, "But thou, O man of God, flee
Oops.
these things." Oops.
Sorry, go ahead.
Flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, and meekness.
Yes.
Amen.
Thank you, Orphan Annie, for that. Appreciate you. My good friend John the Wise. I call John the Wise now. That's a new thing for me.
Oh, I love it.
The way you deal with these cases is to employ the Cochrane method. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Johnny
yeah.
Cochran. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? And I notice he brings him up in other conversations. I really respected Cochrane. He was one heck
You
of an
need to
awesome.
really read up on him if you haven't. I suggest anybody in the chat too. It's great reading. I was a teenager when O.J. Simpson went through his ordeal, and let me tell you something. Believe if he did it or not does not matter. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
If I could dig up Johnny Cochran from the grave or pull him out of the heavens,
Mhm.
I would right now because I need his help. He is absolutely one hell, and I don't care what anybody has to say bad about him, of a
Absolutely.
lawyer. And I suggest you go on Netflix and you watch the O.J. Simpson story on there
I
because you
think,
will learn a lot of techniques about law that I
yeah,
never really, there's some things
that's
I
how it's
thought
supposed to
of
be
and some
done.
I didn't.
That's how it was supposed to be done. Anyways, I think John Cochrane died though.
He did, but he has law firms all over the United States, by the way.
Oh, cool.
And they do pick up cases and they do still fight civil rights. So I
Well,
suggest
I guess you
everybody
got the
check it
answer to your
out.
question, Tammy. Everybody loves me and wants me to stay. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for that. Wanda
Oh,
says,
they
"Keep on
love you,
trucking,
huh?
Jay."
They love you, huh?
They love, yeah, they love me.
Eh,
Mark
you're
said this:
awesome.
hearsay is not supposed to be admitted in court. It's not. But unfortunately, people's emotions can be influenced by hearsay. Hearsay should not be mentioned. That way, people's emotions are tainted. Yep, because you see, emotions is what gets laws passed too. By the way, imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And then common sense is since it's what's for breakfast, please eat it. Oh, that's awesome, Mark. Thank you so much for that
Kind of
statement.
like
That should be
Lucky Charms are magically delicious.
that's an awesome. Yeah, no kidding. That should be a slogan on some type of food product or something. I like it. Or it should be
Uh,
posted. Actually, you know what? Not food. Screw food. I think it should be posted in our courthouses.
do I see another song coming?
Oh, there you
Maybe.
go. Yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
Uh, Mark
uh,
said there is always a reason for people in each other's life. We are in each other's lives for a reason, and I thank you all for showing up. Absolutely, this is a major community here for us, and we're just going to get it building. It's going to get stronger and stronger as we go along here with your guys' help and support. This is not just a community; it's a village, and we're definitely going to do what we can to make this one heck of a big community slash village. So we
Rose,
are
I
doing
totally agree with you. Law needs to be based on logic, not emotion.
absolutely. I mean, I think law would be so much better if we take emotion out of it. So, but anyways, Tim said, "Love you all." All right, Tammy. I guess I'm going to go ahead. You win your vote there, anyways. So,
Yay!
so
Maybe they love
let's
me
go
a
ahead and
little
do
too,
the other
Yolanda.
screen share, ladies and gentlemen, and let's go ahead and get that up and show what Tammy wants to read here now. Stay tuned for here's more information, guys. More data, which I love. This is my favorite part. Anyways, go ahead and can you see this, Tammy? Okay.
Yeah, I can see it, but I've got mine up on my other phone, so we're good.
Okay.
This is by the Psychiatric Times, and it is written by Alan D. Blotke. He is a PhD. He has a PhD in psychology, and false allegations of sexual abuse. So, commentary forensic practice. All allegations of sexual abuse by children must be taken seriously. Data
Mm-hmm.
suggests that the overwhelming majority of children's allegations are legitimate and true, but in certain situations and circumstances, a child may lie and make up false allegations of abuse. This phenomenon is seen most commonly in child custody cases and in criminal cases.
Imagine that.
So imagine criminal cases and child custody. Reasons for lies. As a clinical and forensic psychologist, I am often enlisted to help a parent prove his or her innocence in a sexual abuse case. My
Mhm.
task in these instances is to try to understand why a child would fabricate a story of sexual abuse against his or her close family member. Based on my experience, here are some of the reasons children lie. One, children sometimes make up allegations of sexual abuse because they are looking for attention.
There you
When
go.
children feel neglected by their parents, they may be inclined to fabricate a story of sexual abuse because they know it will bring them attention. With some
Hmm.
kids, negative attention is better than no attention at all. Young
Mm-hmm.
children and even teens will make up a story of sexual abuse without understanding the serious custody or criminal implications for the parent in question.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, a child who is angry with a parent may decide to accuse that parent of sexual abuse. For example, a child might be mad at a parent for seeking a divorce or for real
Told you.
or perceived favoritism of a sibling.
Oh, imagine
Number
that.
three, children, particularly those embroiled in dysfunctional family situations, sometimes falsely report sexual abuse to have the accused parent removed from the child's life. For example, a girl who has a rocky relationship with her father or stepfather may accuse him of sexual abuse to remove him from the family because of
Uh-oh.
his verbal hostilities, drug abuse, or overly harsh discipline.
Imagine that. It's always the dad. You
Number
notice that, Tammy?
four, most of the time it is. Yeah, I'll tell you another one in a minute that you'll be like, wow. Number four, in contentious child custody cases, a child may fabricate a story of sexual abuse against one parent at the encouragement of the other parent who wishes to gain leverage in the legal proceeding.
Hmm.
Children and teens are especially susceptible to suggestions, manipulation, brainwashing, and coaching by a parent. Some
Oh.
children make up, number five, some children may make up a story of sexual abuse against a parent to explain away their own sexual misbehavior or inappropriate actions. For example, a child might accuse a parent of sexual abuse who has recently discovered that the child has been sneaking out of the house to have sex. Or a
Oh.
child might lie about parental sexual abuse after being arrested for shoplifting.
Oh.
Red flags for detecting children's false claims. In every case of alleged sexual abuse, the mental health expert must approach it with an open mind. All possible hypotheses should be explored. Tunnel vision must be avoided. I think that's the biggest problem right there.
Tunnel vision.
Everybody
Yep.
gets on the bandwagon, the
Yep.
DA's office,
They
everybody
get
gets
blind.
in, and
Yep.
they're like the mean girls. That's what I equate it to. It's
Good
like
cop,
watching
bad
Mean
cop
Girls.
routine. Good
Yeah, they
cop,
all,
bad cop
yeah.
routine.
Well, no,
Yep.
kind of like, when we were growing up and everybody had their clique that they were in or whatever.
Exactly. I
It's
know.
like that mean clique that rules
Yep.
the school and
Yep.
bullshit, and they're bullies.
It's the same thing in
Yeah,
prison. Yep.
yeah. And that's how this is. So it is
Clicks.
imperative to consider all available evidence. Evidence. He said the word evidence to either corroborate or refute the claim of sexual abuse. While most claims of sexual abuse are true from a statistical standpoint, some are lodged falsely and must be exposed in a child custody case. A parent's custodial time can be lost if the allegation is not debunked. In a
Hmm.
criminal case, a parent's very freedom is at stake since incarceration is a probable penalty.
Yeah.
There are several red flags that point to a false allegation of sexual abuse by a child. One, in a forensic interview, a sexually abused child is typically anxious, scared, worried, conflicted, ambivalent, and prone to recantations. In contrast, a child who is calm, cool, collected, smooth may be fabricating the allegation of abuse. While this rule of thumb holds true, there are, of course, exceptions. Number 2, a timeline of events and actions will often reveal fabricated allegation. An allegation of sexual abuse that occurs within days or few weeks of a major event can reflect a fabricated story. For example, I had a case where the allegation of sexual abuse occurred within 72 hours of a husband asking for a divorce. The wife was shocked and scared of losing custody of their 3 children. The allegation of abuse was lodged to gain leverage in the child custody battle that was imminent. Number 3, if the first allegation of sexual abuse occurs in a divorce and or child custody proceeding, a fabricated story should be considered. If multiple allegations are made during the proceeding, that is a huge red flag for
These are all facts, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Tammy.
Yeah, because they'll start getting all these witnesses, and it'll be people that could have come forward years before, and then all of a sudden now they're all on the bandwagon together.
Yeah, imagine that.
Number 4, if it is well established that a child is being manipulated or coached by a parent, that child's allegation of sexual abuse against another parent must be scrutinized. As mentioned earlier, children and teens are easily manipulated by a parent and can be unwitting participants in false allegation claims. Number 5, if the parent in question does not have prior history of inappropriate sexual activity, criminal behavior, serious substance abuse, or it is more likely that the current allegation of sexual abuse is false. Number 6, if a child or member of the family has a history of making previous similar allegations of abuse against others, it is more likely that the current allegation claim is false. Number 7, some children, especially younger ones, will believe sexual abuse happened to them if they are repeatedly asked leading questions by a parent, investigator, or evaluator. Children want to please authority figures and will take their cues from them. In such circumstances, very young children have a difficult time distinguishing fact from fantasy. Number 8, sometimes a parent will misconstrue or misinterpret what a child says and then magnify it into an act of sexual abuse. This happens with younger children most often. For example, if a father touches a young child's private parts while giving a bath.
See, that's messed up.
Yeah. In concluding thoughts, as I have encountered firsthand in cases, most adults find it implausible that a child would make up a false allegation of sexual abuse against a close or extended family members. Attorneys, mediators, district attorneys, judges, and even mental health practitioners make the mistake of taking a child's word at face value without careful determination of its truthfulness. False allegations of abuse by children do happen in both custody and criminal cases. Children lie for a variety of reasons, and those reasons must be exposed. That is the task of the mental health professional in such a case.
Yes.
Finally, it is important to note that the number of false allegations of children's sexual abuse is lower than the number of children who do not disclose such abuse or who lie by saying it did not occur. To be clear, sexual abuse of children continues to be a major problem, and we must not turn a blind eye to the enormity of psychological damage to our youth. Now, this is the thing, and I want to say this real quick while I'm thinking about it, because he didn't mention it. I have had where in my life we had a child at a daycare that I ran for a family-owned daycare. They had 3 of them, and I ran 2 of them for them. We had taken kids on a field trip, and they were at a skating rink. And one of the little girls went into the bathroom, and she was crying. So I took a teacher in there with me, and I asked the little girl, I don't want to say names, stuff like that. I said, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" And she says, "I'm bleeding." At that point in time, I had to tell her she was going to be all right, and I immediately went and got to a phone.
There you go.
I brought another teacher in with the teacher that was in there with me so that there was a witness. I'm very big about always have a witness with you. And so I called the owners of the daycare. I called the police. and went from there. I let the
Right.
owners know that I had called the police and they were on their way. They needed to be present.
Correct.
So they do their investigation, this and that. The grandpa gets arrested. He owned a big State Farm agency. He was an insurance broker. Him and the wife have custody of the child. He automatically gets arrested because little girl blames grandpa.
Oh, great.
So grandma and grandpa, being grandma and grandpa, loved their daughter, who this was their granddaughter. They loved their daughter so much that they were letting daughter see child when she wasn't supposed to be.
Oh, interesting.
So as investigation goes on, some few people that actually had a little bit of common sense, got to the truth of the matter, and it was the mother abusing the daughter.
Jeez.
But you see how wrong something can go. And then there's always that stigma to the grandfather now. Well, maybe he messed with the daughter. Maybe he caused it. Maybe it's him. Maybe something's. They always still. It ruined that man's life. But children will pick somebody that's close to them sometimes because they know that if they accuse that person's not going to hate them. They feel safe with them. Because in their mind's eye, all they want is the abuse to stop. It's not about for them somebody getting in trouble. They just want the action of what's happening to them, which they're being hurt, to stop. So
Right.
they're not thinking in the callous way that we think that they are all the time. So those are some of the things to think about, folks. I mean, please let Jay and I know what you think about,
Yeah.
how we could go about getting this hearsay law out, because it's
Yeah.
ruining people's lives. And we're not just talking about child abuse, domestic violence,
No, it's everything based.
RA,
Yeah.
it's assault cases, it's just a man on man fight. Oh,
hmm
so and so beat the shit out of me the other night. I mean, it happens in
hmm
heterosexual, in same sex relationships. It happens in all kinds of things. So I mean, like, let's put our heads together, see if we can come up with something that might gain some ground.
I agree. And you guys can, if you guys come up with whatever you can come up with, you guys can contact me anytime, day or night. Whether I get to it or respond right away doesn't mean I'm not going to. But keep in mind, you guys can get a hold of us right now through me, and then I'll get a hold of my team, and we'll just go from there. You know, word spreads faster than the internet sometimes, believe it or not. So, anyways, if you guys want to contact us, you can do that right now with anything that you got going on at voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Again, voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Make sure you spell it the way it is, or I won't get it. It's all one word, too, by the way. Voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. All right, go ahead, Tammy.
um well, I mean, like, are you ready to hang around for, like, do I have 5 minutes? Can I have the floor for 5 minutes?
No, you're burnt.
I'm burnt. I'm burnt. Don't burn me. Don't burn me. I gotta
I'm
find it
kidding.
before I can run my mouth. Let me see.
I'm
Hang
kidding.
on.
No, you don't have to ask. Go ahead, Tammy. This is your show
I'm
too.
trying to. I'm trying to look so I can read it, because I think I've read it to you, but I may not have. I don't know. Let me get to
You're
it.
good.
Let me get to it.
Don't sweat
Let me
it.
get to it.
You're,
Okay, here we go. Guys, I don't know if y'all know, but I've written a whole album. I've written the lyrics. I'm looking for artists to come forward to do some of these songs. They're all copywritten. Um, they're lyrics only in nature. But I wrote one on the subject of children, and I'd like to share it with you guys. I mean, it's Friday night. We're kind of all hanging, so
yeah,
I think it'd be
make
a
some
good
of it.
time. So I'll go ahead and read it to you real quick.
Thank
It's
an
pretty
orphan Annie
cool.
for your comment. Go ahead, everybody. But go ahead and put your comments and whatnot in the chat. Go ahead, Tammy. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, you're good. So, verse 1: In a battlefield of love gone cold, where hearts once danced, now stories told. Children caught between the fire, in a war where love expires. Mom and dad, once a team, now torn apart, shattered dream. but little ones' innocence bared, caught in the crossfire, hearts ensnared. Don't use us as your weapons in this war all your own. We're not pawns in your possession. In this battle, leave us alone. Courtroom echoes, silent ones. Silent cries, I'm so sorry, as custody battles reach the skies. Forgetting we're not prizes won, but hearts and souls beneath the sun. Mom
Hmm.
and Dad, we love you so, but this fight we can't outgrow. Our hearts they ache, our minds confused. In this battle, we're the ones bruised. Don't use us as your weapons in this war that's all your own. We're not pawns in your possession. In this battle, leave us alone.
Hmm.
We're not the shields for your regrets or arrows in your dueling sets. We're children longing to be free from this war you wage, can't you see? Don't
Hmm.
use us as your weapons in this war that's all your own. We're not pawns in your possession in in this battle, leave us alone. Mom and Dad, hear our plea for peace and love to set us free. Put down your arms, embrace us tight. In your love, let's find our light.
Wow.
And if
What
that
did you
doesn't
guys
hit
think?
homes, folks, I don't know what to say. But
What What did you guys think of that? That's very moving to me. I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you, Tammy, for sharing that. What do you guys thought? What
you're
did you guys think
welcome.
about? Yeah. What did you guys think about Tammy's song there? We're gonna just do the chat thing here for about another, I don't know, 5 minutes or so. Unless you got something else you want to do, Tammy.
No, I just love everybody and I love their comments. And I just
Yeah.
sometimes want to share with you guys and just be a human being for a few minutes. God, divorce is hard, relationships are hard, falling in love is hard, falling out of love is hard, friendships are hard. But you know what's really hard? It's when people, instead of stopping, I think that if anybody can go back and just go, that one time, this moment in time in my life, I
Mm-hmm.
wish I would have took a couple seconds just to take a deep breath, draw in and think before I open my mouth or react it.
Right.
And I, I,
Tammy, do you
I I
see?
think that's it.
Tammy, do you see that comment? Orphan Annie left you. Go ahead and look at it. I want you. I thought that was very sweet.
Oh, I'm gonna cry. Your passion for truth and justice is alluring.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you, Orphan.
it's
Much respect,
because
brother.
the love of my life, the man that I have known since I was 12-year-old child. We were friends for quite a few years before we got together when we were teenagers. We fell in love when we were 16. For a few years we were together and life split us up
Mhm.
and we're separated but always in each other's lives for over 40 years. My heart is sitting in a prison cell tonight because of some very, very dark, vindictful people. And all I can say is there's not one shred of evidence. And I've met so many people on this journey that have had their lives taken away from them, absolutely destroyed at the hands of people who lie and
Yeah.
play the system. And I'm so sick and tired of hearing the excuse, well, money or this or that, or that's just how it is. You know what I absolutely hate?
What's that?
The excuse, well, it's just this, or it's just that. Somebody pissed me off in a chat in Facebook, and they didn't mean to, but it pissed me off. They said because that woman that got arrested yesterday, she got arrested on the 22nd. It's been
Hmm.
what, 3 days ago, for taking in 4 cans of snuff. 4 cans of friggin' snuff into the prison, and she got arrested. She's going to prison for that, and she's a guard. And the excuse was made, well, you know, They keep just whoever they have because they're understaffed. Well, you wouldn't be fucking understaffed if you quit arresting people and brutalizing them and convicting them without evidence and giving them lifelong sentences. So
Absolutely.
F that. Sorry.
Absolutely.
How I
No,
feel.
no. And
100%.
this is what we need. We need true opinions, facts, and emotions in here, because then we like, if we don't show any of that, then are we even human? So I appreciate you, Tammy, on that. Thank you for sharing.
It's just terrible. Look at your life. Look at what you've been through. Look at what you're still going through. Whoever this guy is that's in, and I don't know if they're in the chat, guy, gal, whoever you are, whoever's following and stalking Jay, I am going to find somebody who is very good at computer forensics, and I'm going to find out who it is, and it's going to come to a stop because we're going to use the legal system to
It
our
gets
full
old.
advantage for
It gets old.
stalking and harassment,
It,
stalking and harassment of an individual.
it gets
Because you
old.
know what? It's old and it's done. He has
You,
children, he has a wife, he has a life. He's been out for I don't know how many years. Cut it out. Grow up. Go
well,
find a life. Go get a
yeah,
life.
yeah, no kidding. You hit that
Like,
right on the nail. And that's the part that I don't get or understand. Why there has to be this continued harassment. What does that mean? What do you benefit out of this? What's your goal?
what are you hiding is better question, Jay. What are
There's a
they
there's a
hiding?
right. That's a
What
great
are
question. But
they hiding?
on top of that too, Tammy, there's another one too that not a lot of people know either. Is all this hate talk and hate speech about somebody's record kind of makes you kind of wonder what's in your closet. Because you always want to nitpick somebody else's downfalls, but make sure your closet's clean before you start talking crap about, me, what I do in my services and
Look at
my,
the other one that we found about. I'm not going to mention any names because there's no point. But
yeah.
one of the females that was accusing Jay actually had tormented a 9-year-old for several years.
Yeah.
Several years.
Imagine that.
And is a register on the registration. Um, Orphan, 100% agree with you, and we are going to build houses.
That's our goal,
We're
Orphan.
building houses. We're going to build villages. We're
Yeah.
going to build communities. If they won't welcome us into communities, and I say us because I stand with Jay and everybody that's in Jay's situation, we're going to build communities where everyone is welcome as long as they're willing to help themselves and be part of a village and help others.
Right.
That's how that system will work. We will work together. We will build a different world.
Correct.
If the world won't bend and change with us, then we will change what we have control of.
Well, that's our goal. And we're working on stuff behind the scenes now. We're trying to get legit, and we're trying to get all the proper paperwork and whatnot filled out and all of that. But I can guarantee you guys, it's going to take some time. How much, I don't know, but I can say this with Tammy's input that we're definitely going to make this a major thing, a major movement, and we're going to definitely give second chances to people that actually really want true second chances. Because I look at it like this. We can't give people second chances if there's no place to put people to get second chances. There's an old saying, you got to crawl before you can walk. You have to have a roof for your head so you can feel good about yourself, get a good night's sleep so you can focus the next day, have a nice shower, have a nice meal. You can't live in a tent or in a box on the side of the street, for crying out loud. So my thing is, me and Tammy and Tin Man and so many others that are involved in this definitely want to take this to the next level. Tammy, go ahead.
And redeeming and
Everybody,
John
you know me.
Doe, and I can go on and on the list of how much support we have. But anybody, please, I swear I'm going to work really hard on trying to get my website up and done so that you guys, and an email that I don't mind posting online where it's
Correct.
not all my personal information out there. I mean, if anybody wants to know my personal life, reach out to me directly. I have no problem. I don't have a background or anything
You
like
want to
that.
verbalize your
Yeah.
verbalize your email, or can you put it in the chat,
I'm
Tammy?
gonna Yeah, I'm not going to do it yet because I don't have one for my nonprofit, but
Oh, fair
I'm going to
enough.
get
I was
all
just
that
saying.
up this weekend. And by Wednesday of next week, guys, I should have everything up and going. But I'm looking for volunteers. Anybody wants to volunteer to help with different paperwork and different things that we need for all of us to move and forge ahead in this.
Welcome
Great
in, Judy.
minds and help for Jay, myself, Tim, Man, and a few of us others. And we need to like all kind of come together as a village and get this
Yeah,
moving.
well, again, more minds on this is better than just like one or two minds. The more minds we got on this, the better off we are. So if there's anybody
Yeah,
that wants to volunteer, again, yes, I say volunteer. I know a lot of people don't really like that word volunteer because obviously there's no money in it. Well, there's no money in it for us either, to be
yeah,
honest with you. And I don't want to do it for money. I'll do it for free if I had to, if I had it my way. But nonetheless, we need more volunteers. So if you want to volunteer, reach out right now at my email, and then I'll spread it around with everybody else. Whether Tammy has an email up and ready or not is irrelevant, but nonetheless, all respect, reach out to me right now. Voices from inside out at gmail.com. Again, voices from inside out at gmail.com. And a lot of you can get a hold of the people that you see here tonight. I don't really have anything else to explain. Do you have anything else you want to add before we close out?
just that I love every one of you and what you bring to us and the support and unwavering. Man, you guys are rocks. You know that. Just that you're not rocks. You know what you are? Your roots. Your roots from a great tree of life that you help and it flourishes, man. I don't know how to
I can feel
explain
it.
how much we've grown. And then those roots take in, and it's like it's just set there and we stand firm. And by
Correct.
doing it together, we can grow and do so much. I don't care if you're in Timbuktu, out in the boonies, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Tell everybody you know. You or
Right.
stand there in the grocery store, strike up a conversation. Let
Yeah.
people become aware. This abuse and the atrocities and the humanity that's gone.
Correct.
We got to help. Curtis, I am needing some vets on board. I would love to connect with you. I want to get some vets going with this. Please,
Yes.
connect with me through Jay, please. Um,
Orphan Annie said in the comment, "How do we undo this mess?" Great question, Orphan. Do you want to answer that, Tammy, or do you want me?
you can go ahead and tell them what you want to say, and then I can give my opinion, whatever you want to
All right.
do.
Well, don't beat me up, Tammy.
I know. Let's get out the gloves, Jay. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, there really is no wrong answer here, guys. This is all
No.
learning things. So, but the answer, Orphan Annie's on my own personal thing here. She said, "How do we undo this mess?" Well, I guess in a sense, it depends on what you're talking about. But if it's talking about the topic tonight and the subject matter that we're talking about, false allegations and hearsay, I look at it like this. First off, obviously, we need a buttload of education when it comes to our young people, young youth, teenagers. I say this all the time in some of my previous podcasts. I say this: it starts in the home. Education matters. Education starts in the home. You got to teach your kids what's right, what's wrong, and what's truth and what's not. It starts there. And then if you raise your kids the right way and stop letting them just run amok out here on the street and do whatever they want, there's not going to be any change. There's going to be in and out of the prison system. The revolving door constantly spins. Our prisons are like Vegas. The lights are always on, and it's a never ending city. The city is always 24/7. So is our prisons. It is what it is. We have to stop it from, it starts in our schools, it starts in our home. I hope I answered that correctly. I mean, there's a lot of ways we can answer that question, but she's spot on. What do you think about that, Tammy? But it starts there, I believe. It starts with childhood because you're not born with it, you're taught it. Carry on, Tammy.
Correct. Every negative impacted thing about a child is a learned behavior. Racism, hatred, being a bully. Man, I
There's
can go on and on and on, but
Yeah.
like
There's
they all
Curtis's
taught
email, everybody.
behavior.
Curtis's email is in the chat. Sorry, Tammy. Curtis's email is in the chat. Get a hold of Curtis if you want to collab and hook up with him. He's a good man.
Thank
He's
you,
served our country.
Curtis. Definitely will get it here in just a second. Um, I will say wholeheartedly.
I agree, John.
What did John
What?
say? Uh-oh. I
First
don't
things
know.
first, we need to keep the men out of the women's restrooms. Duh.
How about we keep
Absolutely.
the guards off of the men and women, vice versa? How about
Yeah.
that? How's that sound? That sounds good too. Let's start there in incarceration. Let's
Yeah.
stop having a whole prison out there in Florida just for pregnant women. Uh, we need to do a
Right.
show on that, Jay. We need to do. But anyway, I mean, getting back to the
Go ahead.
subject at hand, how do we undo this mess? Knowledge is power.
Boom.
But how we do it is we create a program so developed and so damn successful that they cannot just turn a blind eye anymore and make the excuses that they've been making for decades with
Absolutely.
imprisonment. Let's show them what works instead of what doesn't work, because what they're doing right now does not work. Building more
Correct.
prisons, incarcerating more people, it's not solving the problem. Why is crime rising?
Mm-hmm.
Please tell me. Why is
Oh,
this such a big
I
deal?
think we should do a show on that. Why is crime rising? That's a great thing.
Why are we having more people? Why are we having this P. Diddy issue? You notice how quiet it got about Epstein?
It's all over everything.
Have you noticed how they quieted Epstein? You know why? You want to
Hmm.
know why P. Diddy's a big deal and Epstein's not? Because in Epstein, all our politicians and judges
Are on
and
that list.
all the judicial were on that damn island.
Mm-hmm.
Not every single one of them, because I don't want to get slapped with some kind of suit. But just a minute. Hang on a minute, Ranger. So we
You're correct,
got
Tin Man.
distracted. We got distracted by Hollywood because it's better to point at a bunch of black entertainers than it is to go after the white rich politicians, right? I mean, like, why would we do that? It has become a race issue too. You know that, right? So
Oh,
guess what?
absolutely.
So
Well, I can't remember. I think it was on Twitter, or better known as X now for some of you that don't have it. Somebody sent me an article. The list is supposedly out and it's on the black market, and we can all obtain it. But of course, obviously, I think there might have to be. What I'll do, I have this information. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to do a short video on it. I'm going to make a podcast on this. I'm going to show this again. I'm probably going to get a lot of slack for this because people are going to get in the chat and say, "How legit is this and this and that?" Well, I saved it. I saved this information. You'll be amazed. A lot of people are on this list. We're gonna we're gonna break this open nonetheless. Probably next week. So stay tuned for that.
oh yes, that'll be good. That would be a good show to do. But I'm telling you all, I'm telling you, they did that shit on purpose because it sure went bye quick. And
Yeah.
there's too many damn politicians. I'm telling you on there.
Well, and keep in mind, Tammy, if I may too. Remember, they're saying that he committed suicide inside that cell. He didn't.
You know damn well he was on watch, right? There's
He
no way.
was he was in segregation. He was under suicide watch.
Exactly. They killed him.
So,
And she's too
well,
scared to come forward and say anything because she'll be dead as a doornail too.
right.
Which
Well,
she
and keep in
already
mind,
is.
when they did an autopsy on this guy, hate him or like him, again, I don't condone the actions of what he was doing there on that island, but hear me out. And I'm gonna not spoil this as much as I don't want to because I'll be doing a podcast on it. I think it's a good idea. Anyways, his one of his bones in his neck or bone was broken, and you cannot obtain that through suicide. No, more on that later.
Yep.
So John gets in here and says, Epstein involves Prince Jack. Interesting. Yeah,
I know what he's saying.
yeah. I got to be careful what I say here. Uh, 10 minute freedom is only an illusion. Some just have longer chains due to fatter wallets and fancier titles. Absolutely, Orphan. Man, that's a good way of putting it. Tin Man said this. Welcome in, Tin Man. All the guards were asleep. All the cameras malfunctioned. Imagine that. Oh, I got it. Now that he said that, I got to do this.
You have to do it.
I have to do it. Da-da. Imagine that.
Oh, we can't.
Gosh, I love you guys. It's amazing. Curtis said this. Not that I saw. All right, so I believe he was talking about somebody sent an email to Curtis and he didn't get it. I don't think so. I'll put the email back up here just a second, so you guys make sure you spell it right. It was I'm sorry, John said this. You guys can see it in the chat. Negligent homicide because the CEO falsified the logs and weren't making rounds. That's interesting. Very, very interesting. Orphan Annie said the cameras never work when you need them to the most. Absolutely. Yeah, I've noticed that too with the body cams on police officers out here on the streets too. When they're supposed to be having those things on during a call or whatever kind of call it is, and then all of a sudden the data or the camera malfunctions or the SD card didn't pick it up or there's something technically wrong with it. I hear all the excuses, right? But these are expensive cameras, so they shouldn't fail, but even the expensive stuff does. But they have the power to turn them off and turn them on too. So keep that in mind. Judy said this. Welcome in, Judy. Thank you so much for being here. And happy Memorial Day weekend for you too over there. I was a sergeant at the oldest prison in Missouri. I didn't sleep. So keep in mind, Judy, I got Judy off of another YouTube channel. His name's Harvey, and his YouTube channel is called Harvey Talks Prisons. And I met these people over there. So thank you, Judy, for being here. Judy is a former CEO. So I'm sorry. I don't know why I want to say she or he. I'm sorry if I beat it up. My apologies. But it was an employee at one of the prisons in Missouri. There you go. So thank you so much for that info, nonetheless. So Tammy, I mean, we got to get out of here anyways. We've been in here 2 hours, so I'll make this a 2 hour special show. I don't do it much, but there's another one for the history books for being a 2 hour special.
See,
I might as well
when we push you, this is what happens. This is what happens.
Well, when we got great data and information on these podcasts, it happens. So
I was just notified of an incident. I just got notified by another advocate. Just report it, and this is the one my husband's on, and I know this to be fact because he wrote me, tell me he was pulling his hot pot out to get something to eat. Just reported by my husband. G-Wing has not been taken to dinner chow as of 10 p.m.
Oh, hell no.
Let me tell you something about this whole mess of where he's at. This is intake. So they're new and all of that.
Can you put the link in the chat, please? I'll put it up on the ticker. Please put the carry link up in there. I still don't have it. It's my fault. I got to get that stuff saved on my computer so I can just go dunk and put it up there. But Tim Man, again tonight, can you put the link there? Go ahead, Timmy.
Okay, so they get them up at between 1 and 2 in the morning to shower. Just no joke. That's 1 and 2 to shower. They eat breakfast at 2 o'clock in the morning. They'll eat lunch between 10 and 11. So these guys have not eaten since before noon, and it's 10 p.m. at night. And my husband himself is diabetic. amongst other issues that he has.
Hmm.
Now, I want you guys to keep in mind there's no AC in this prison that he's at. And
What was the
today
temp?
we were at 111 with the heat index. So,
Good Lord.
yeah,
111.
111 with the heat index. So, in their prison cells, it was probably like more like at 120. And 85 is supposed to be as
Thank you,
high
Tin
as
Man.
they're allowed to get it. 85 degrees. So I just want to make y'all aware. And then at the women's unit, please keep them in your prayer. The hobby unit here in Texas, it's a women's prison, and they're getting eat up by bird mites and black beetles, and they have welts on their bodies.
Imagine
And the
that.
pest control's not coming out till the 28th. And so a lot of the women are getting sick because they're being bitten. There's Tim Man's website. It's www.citizensassociation.org.
I put it in there for you
Um,
guys.
and so yeah, they're being abused. That's
Yeah.
abuse.
Yeah.
That's abuse. So you're talking since this morning they haven't eaten. They've had
Wow.
nothing to eat, and it's just been brought to my attention. So I'm going to go handle that. But it's just horrific. Absolutely horrific.
Correct.
And Rick had just wrote me a little bit ago while we were doing the podcast and said he was cooking something to eat because they haven't come and got him for dinner. So I knew, or we
Well,
kind of knew about it, but you know, then when we complain, they get retaliated on. They're
like,
absolutely mean and abusive.
and Jim Man just hit that and said, and no fans. And I want you guys to understand, summer's coming.
Yeah.
It's pretty much already here. Temps are already in high temps out here in the deep south. I have a feeling, like last year, I'm going to be a busy advocate when it comes to our AC issues in our prisons out here in the deep south. And again, believe it or not, but sad but true, there's going to be heat-related deaths again this summer. Man,
I
just
don't want my husband to be a statistic, guys. We need some support. I'm going to be circulating I have a petition drawn up already about the situation for the AC. I want answers. I want Congress to do a congressional investigation as to why the state of Texas got 85
well,
million or $1 billion and they
keep in
still
mind
not
they say it's
installed the
not in the
fans.
budget.
They got
They say
millions and they did nothing with it. What the hell are they doing? There's only 30 prisons out of 109 that have AC.
yeah, bulk.
That's ridiculous. I mean, why not take some unemployed felons and let them go in there and install AC? Because God knows they've been trained to do stuff. So, I mean,
They probably have the skill to do it. It's called HVAC.
exactly.
Yep,
Hello,
yep.
felons that can't get a job. Why don't you hire them to
Oh,
install
of
the
course not.
ACs if it's such an issue? I don't want cooling beds. I don't want
That
cooling towels that I have to buy and cooling T-shirts or
nope.
fans that cost $23. I want you to install the friggin' AC units that
There you
you
go.
got the money for.
Yeah, or give it back.
Yeah, and then if I want to donate my tax money for ACs to be installed in the prisons, I can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm so angry. And that's all across America, guys. It's not just here because it
Right.
gets hot up north too. It does.
Well, before I get out of here, thank you, Tammy, for that information. And Orphan Amy Red said it too, a raise in the budget. Well, yeah, and keep in mind, with all due respect to everybody in the chat, we have, last time I checked, the budget lays right now, and it's going to go higher next year, and every year it goes higher. Right now, I believe the number is at 400 billion. That's with a B for your guys' information. And again, I don't have it on my show tonight, but if I do another topic on this, I'll show you. It's out there. Nonetheless, $400 billion of our tax dollars are in the system and we can't have AC. Come on. Anyways, with that being said, guys, we're past our time. I got to bounce out of here. Tammy, thank you so much for being in here. I appreciate you. Much love.
Well, you too. And happy Memorial Day weekend to everybody. Please be safe and careful out there and
Yeah.
enjoy your time with your family. It's very precious.
Yeah. Again,
Just know that.
again, I have a merch line, guys. It's in the YouTube merch section. You guys should see it. It's like a
Oh
little.
yeah, definitely.
There's definitely a like a shopping bag logo or emoji in the above the comment section. I can't show it on here for whatever reason, but again, go over there, hit that, and check out some of my merch I have on there. I have stickers. I have a couple hats. And a mug. Imagine that mug. If you guys are interested, go show your support there and do what you guys can with that. But I got to get out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Orphan Annie, real quick. It says this: based on FYI 222 data, the average annual COIF for federal inmate housing or housed in a bureau or non-bureau facility in FY 2022 was 42,000. That's $116.91 per day. Imagine that. Holy crap. There's no excuse.
Mm-mm.
And it said there's even more info out there. Thank you, Orphan Annie, for your knowledge and input and insight. I appreciate you, Orphan. I got to get you.
Think about that. They're bunking them to a 6x8 cell.
Yeah. I got to get you. I got to get Orphan Amp on the podcast, maybe hopefully sometime next week if you're interested. So
jump up here with us one night. We'd love it.
Yeah, please do, Orphan. You're much respected over there. Anyways, love you guys. Okay, so everybody in the chat, Tin Man, Tammy, as usual, John Doe, Judy, Orphan Annie, Curtis. Let's see, who else am I missing here? I believe Wanda was in here. Yeah, Wanda, there she is.
Wanda, Rose, all of you.
Rose, everybody that was in the chat, thank you guys so much for being here and being a part of this great podcast. As I know, I'm going to have the weekend off. Happy Memorial Day to all of you guys, and I will see you guys this coming Wednesday for our normal From Inside Out podcast, and then Friday will be another Man's Night. If you guys got show ideas, topic ideas, or anything of that nature, please get a hold of me right now. voicesfrominsideout@gmail.com. Let me know what you want to talk about, and I'll try to put your show in here, and we'll go from there. I'm trying to make this fun and epic and useful for everybody. Again, this is not like knowledge from, we're not attorneys. We're just giving out educational type information that will be useful for you guys out there for whatever you need. And I hope you guys appreciate it. And if you guys can become a member of this podcast or this show here, because it also helps me out, because everything you see here comes out of my pocket to go right back into this. So I don't really make anything anyways, nonetheless, but support me if you guys can, whether it's $1, whatever you guys can do, I greatly appreciate it. All proceeds goes right back into this, or if there's something going on, I will donate it and record that and show you that I'm donating it. Nonetheless, it is what it is. But thank you guys so much, every single one of you guys, for being in here. I'm your host, Jay. I will see you all on the next one. Good night, everybody. God bless you all. Take care. Peace.